Everyone, again, welcome to Carla's Corner. This is the third video in this three video series about what PCOS is, what my history about PCOS is, and also how to overcome the psychological effects with PCOS as well. So stay tuned and we will get to the nitty-gritty here in a second. This last video is actually going to be a pretty short video about what my mood disorders were when I suffered from PCOS. Now, keep in mind that these mood disorders never completely go away. Or at least they haven't for me yet. But they have minimized throughout time. And another thing is that if you learn strategies and how to manage these mood disorders, they won't impact your day-to-day life. You'll feel them for like maybe an instant, but then you won't anymore because you'll know how to manage it. You'll know how to minimize the effects that these mood disorders can have on you. All right. So again, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the psychological effects of PCOS. And more personally, I'm going to be talking about what my psychological effects were and how I got past these psychological effects on a daily basis. All right, so notice that I'm going to call these psychological effects like a mood disorder or like mood disturbances because that's really what they feel like. They make you get out of character. So how you truly are, it's like you start getting paranoid, you start getting depressed, you start getting irritated. It does not feel good, these three things, right? And who knows, maybe you suffer from something else as well that causes you to have a mood disturbance or a mood disorder. Basically a change in your normal behavior. And it causes you to treat others differently. And it can like hurt your relationships with others. So what I'm going to do is kind of just talk about how my mood disorders affected me and what I use, like the strategies that I use to get over each individualized mood disorder. Because there's the three main disorders or the mood disturbances that affect me is 1, depression, 2, paranoia, and 3, irritation. And I kind of figure that kind of all ties in with depression. But it feels separate. Because sometimes I won't be depressed, but I will be very irritated. Sometimes I won't be depressed and I'll feel very paranoid for some reason. Or I might feel depressed, but I don't feel paranoia or irritation. I'm just depressed. So I feel like they're all three their own separate mood disturbance, like their own separate just psychological effects that they have on me. First one that I want to talk about is depression. So when I'm feeling depressed from my PCOS symptoms, it's not something that's like externally induced. I'm just feeling really down for no reason, right? It's not that somebody made me sad. It's not that I had a bad day. I probably even had a fantastic day. But then all of a sudden, I just start feeling down, just start feeling horrible. I don't even know how to describe it really. I think anyone who experiences depression and they know that it's like externally caused, or if you're suffering from PCOS, then just all of a sudden you just start feeling bad. You start feeling sad. You start feeling horrible. So it's never a good thing to feel this way. All right. So really, I just have to, and then it's like your thoughts are focused on something. All right. And then the second thing that I will suffer from is something called paranoia. Like you just end up suspecting people. You end up thinking like the worst in people. You end up just being paranoid over every little thing. And you don't even have a reason for why you're feeling paranoid. And it could be about silly issues that you don't even care about under a normal situation. I mean, you just feel weird paranoia. And then third, you just get irritated. Like everything or anything that someone can do, you just start getting irritated at it. You be like, just really irritated, and all the negative, rude thoughts that come with getting irritated. So those are the three things: depression, paranoia and irritation that my mood disturbances made me have to deal with. And it always started a week before my period. And it's like, it's not just regular PMS, it's PMS on steroids, it's PCOS. And it's not a comfortable feeling. It just makes you feel bad about yourself. It makes you feel horrible about the world. So just keep in mind that this is something that you can actually minimize. You don't have to experience this every single week. You can control it. Even if it does happen, you cannot let it control you. You can control it. Okay? So the first thing that you need to do to control your mood disturbances is to have self-awareness. You have to understand who you are, right? You have to understand not only who you are, especially if you're feeling depressed or paranoid or irritated about somebody else, you have to understand who they are, right? You have to understand who you are, and you have to understand who everyone else is. But more importantly, you have to understand who you are, even if you're having a hard time understanding who other people are. Right? So once you have that self-awareness and you start getting into the mood disorder, then you'll have enough self-awareness to realize that that is not you. That is not that other person, like you have to think it. You have to apply logic to the situation as well. So first you have that self-awareness, realizing what's going on, realizing what's happening, realizing that that's not who you are. That's not what your thoughts are. That's not what your opinions and feelings are like towards those other people as well. You have to have self-awareness of the moment it's beginning to happen. You have to recognize the patterns. If it's happening a week before your period, then automatically know a week before your period that you need to be suspicious of your thoughts, okay? That your thoughts are not correct, all right? That is not who you are. That is not who they are. You have to understand that first and foremost. You need self-awareness. And if you don't have it, you need to get it, because that's the first step in overcoming the depression, overcoming the irritation, the paranoia, all those negative effects. That is the first step. Self-awareness. Once you develop that self-awareness, what you will then need is logic. You'll need to apply logic to the situation, all right? Logic is what allows you to counteract all of those abnormal thoughts. So if you're saying, like, if you're feeling paranoid, then you have to logically think, is that really what that person is like? Or is this you feeling paranoid? Like, what evidence do you have for feeling that way about that person? What evidence did they give you? Is the evidence you have even legit? Or is it something else that's fabricated? All right? You have to think through it logically. Like, you just do. Like, you just have to think through it logically. And then, or if you're feeling depressed, ask yourself the question, what are you feeling depressed about? If you're feeling depressed about, just something that happened on TV or something that happened that day, think under normal circumstances, wouldn't you be able to, deal with it? Was it really that big a deal? Did it really bother you? So just think about it logically. Apply logic to the situation. If you find yourself irritated, right, at everyone around you, consider that applying logic. Consider like, maybe you're the problem. Maybe you're the one who's just unnecessarily irritated, right? Maybe you got high blood pressure that day, Think about it logically. And then say, okay, this is what this is, if I think about this logically. And it kind of squashes the depression a bit. It squashes the irritation. It squashes the paranoia. And then gradually you don't feel it anymore because you squashed it. You got rid of the feeling by applying logic to the situation, because you had enough self-awareness to realize what was happening. You were able to then apply logic to, make yourself understand that it was actually not happening at all. So that's my advice to you on how to deal with your mood disorders. Become self-aware, and then also apply logic to the situation. And I know it may seem like it is a hard thing to do, because it can be, but you must do it, because otherwise you'll end up ruining your relationships with all of the ones who love you. You'll end up ruining relationships with all of the ones who could love you in the future. Try hard and do it. Like, overcome all of your weaknesses, even the ones you don't know about yet.